Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here in Anguilla. This is Flight Sim 2020 Sim Update 16 Beta version 139.9. We're going to check out the new NVIDIA driver today, 580.88. I have the NVIDIA stats over on the right hand side because I can't use dev mode in this sim with frame gen running because it's all jittery. And it just looks ridiculous, so we're gonna go with what we've got here. Let's get into the cockpit here. We'll go rotating beacon on, toes on the brakes. Master and battery switches on. Avionics master is on. We'll go fuel pump. I don't know why I can use the fuel pump in this plane, but I can't use it in any other plane. But that's the way it is. Wait for the avionics to come up here. This plane's a little tricky to start. Hopefully I'll get it. Let's see here. All right, we'll go prop full forward, the throttle up, and this is how we prime. There's fuel flow coming up. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we bring this down a little bit. Come on, baby. Nope. Alright. Prime it again here for a couple seconds. There we go. And we go. Alright. That was a little bit longer than I'd hoped it would be. We got it going. Alright, let's go. Taxi lights on. We'll go.
TOS system test. Okay.
We'll go fuel pump off. If for no other reason than to get rid of that annoying noise. I usually do this these test flights in the Britain Norman Islander. I just felt like flying something different today, so we will we'll do that. Let's release the parking brake, and as soon as we get rolling, that's the brakes. Oh wait, let me see here. Okay, we got the nose wheel steering going. Sorry, this is a little painful here to get going, but this has got a free castering nose wheel. A little stutter right there, which is this thing right here, which is apparently decent in real life, but it's really, really annoying in the sim. So if you change your gear setting, you essentially put the gear up in the sim, which of course is a fixed gear airplane. It will switch to a nose wheel steering, which is much less annoying. So we'll just hop around here and see how we do. I haven't. It also doesn't like idle power apparently. It's a really cool airplane. I haven't flown this plane in a while. So let's do an engine run up here. I forgot you can't do that in this airplane. So let's do an engine run up. So let's set the parking brake, and we're gonna go throttle up to about 2,000 RPM. Check the left mag. Good drop. Back to both. Right mag. Good drop within 50 RPM of one another. We'll go back to both. We'll exercise the prop here a few times. This gets oil going through the prop governor, which is a good thing. That's good. I should have had the fuel pump on, and we can check fuel pressure. Fuel pressure is good. Oil temperature is gonna come up here. Oil pressure is good, so we'll bring the throttle back here to about go back to about 1,000 RPM. In the mixture again a little bit. Okay. Strobe lights and position lights on, landing light on. We'll take the taxi light off. We will release the parking brake. And we'll go take off flaps. Final approach course is looking clear. So I'm looking at a couple things on this flight. One of the things I'm looking at is the ground textures. I've heard a lot of people talk about the ground textures with this build of the update 139.9, that the ground textures look bad. I mean, I think, to me, the sim looks marvelous. I haven't flown 2020 in quite a while. Well, I flew earlier. Yeah, see, we got some stutters here. I flew earlier versions of the beta. I have not flown this version yet. I did not clear my shader caches. Didn't really feel a need to. We'll just back taxi to Alpha here, and then we'll spin ourselves around and get going. That's the second little stutter that I saw. Alright, final approach course is clear. Runway is clear in this direction. We'll go mixtures and props. Full forward fuel pump is on. Flaps are set. Heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is coming in. Airspeed's alive. Engine instruments are in the green. Oil temperature's still a little bit low, but survive that. And I noticed immediately that the trim, talked about this in an earlier video. And there's another stutter. Talked about this in another video about the flight control changes in Flight Sim 24 having not been brought over to 2020, but this, let me tell you, is exactly on point. Unlike my rudder use. There's 1,000 feet. Turn the fuel pump off. We'll check our fuel pressure. Also bring our flaps up. So the number I'm really looking at is the FPS 1% low there. When that drops, that's when we get those little stutters. 1,450 feet, we'll get the nose down. So the trim is definitely on point right now in this airplane anyway. CPU use is all looking real good. I don't know what those stutters are from. But I tell you, the airplane feels great. Looks beautiful. I mean, I don't see anything that would indicate to me that, I mean, this looks a little barren out here, but it really can be like that in the winter, or in the summer. The water looks really good. There's another stutter, and you can see the FPS 1% low just dropped right there. Boy, it looks really nice to me. Clouds look good. They did talk about in this update the coastline's looking better, and it's not necessarily something I noticed it didn't look good, but it certainly looks good now. They did talk about water improvements, and I have to say, so I'm used to kind of seeing those black squares, you know, the black lines on the water. I don't see them at all. Alright. I mean, it just looks amazing. Boy, it looks nice. Eye down final here. Let's go to 18, there's another one. Yeah, 1% low keeps dropping. Go notch of flaps. I don't think I've ever seen this sim look this beautiful. I also had, there was something about clouds at the distance, I believe. everything looks beautiful. Gosh. I'm like kind of taken aback at how good this looks, honestly. Alright. Keep an eye down finally here by looking through the headrest. Yeah, there's another stutter. There's something going on. I don't know. It's part of the issue. I don't know if it's the sim. I don't know if it's the but look at the water. I've never seen the water look this good. And that's something I pay attention to. Never seen the water look this good. Looks unbelievable. Look at how realistic that looks. Oh. Alright. Level it out here. I tend to look at this airspeed indicator just because it's right on the kind of at your eye level when you're looking out the airplane. Let's go fuel pump on. I can match the flaps. Don't be out here doing noise, so we'll go forward here. Just trim out and add a little bit of power. 65 is where between 65 and 70 is where we like it. Well, if you like GA airplanes and you haven't flown this plane, you're doing yourself a disservice. It is phenomenal. This is a stinky approach. Boy, this is a bad approach. There's another stutter. There's a coastline issue right there. Oopsie. Alright. Airspeed is good. We'll just let that nose drop. Mixture and prop full forward. Fuel pump is on. Flaps are set. Gears down and welded. Alright, so I think what we're going to do to try to differentiate, did I just make up a word? No, differentiate between what might be sim stutters and what might be driver stutters. I think I'm going to clear the driver cache because the problem with, we're going to go over the cliff here, the problem with checking multiple things at one time is that you don't know what's causing what. So there's definitely a performance degradation there. But I don't know what the cause was. So let's clear our shader caches. I haven't done it in a while. There's another drop there. So let's clear our shader caches and we'll give it another go. I don't think this is scenery related because we had them over the water. We had them at both airports, so let's clear our shader caches. We'll be right back and give this another try. I'm going to do some flying just to rebuild the caches, and we'll give this another try. So we'll be back here shortly. Alright, here we are back in Anguilla. I've done some flying to get the shader caches rebuilt. Let's get this airplane going here. We'll go fuel pump on. Bring the mixture forward, get some fuel going through the engine here. About 5 seconds worth. We'll bring it back. Crack the throttle. I don't think this is normal. Nah. Alright. Fuel pump is on. Prime it again here a little bit. I always feel like I'm hoping that this plane's gonna start. Alright, so let's lean the mixture. We'll bring the RPM back here to 1,000. We'll lean it for taxi. We'll turn the fuel pump off.
System test. Okay.
Position the strobe lights on. Taxi light on. Release the parking brake. Takeoff flaps. So I did about an hour's worth of flying, which should be plenty to get to get the shader caches rebuilt. We'll see. I realized after, so I went to check my rolling cache to see whether I should delete that. I was gonna delete it, but I don't even have it set, which is I think fairly typical for Flight Sim 2020. I'm not gonna bother with a run up and all that jazz this time. We're just looking for sheer performance here. This airplane does not like the engine at idle, so we'll go mixtures and props full forward. Go fuel pump on. Flap is set for takeoff. There's a little drop there. Heading indicator checks with the runway number. Takeoff power is set. I tell you, this is one of the best handling GA planes in the sim. It really is. 59 will rotate. Nose down a little bit here for climb. Alright. There's 400 feet AGL. We'll get the turnout started here. And so far so good. I haven't had a stutter yet. I have a feeling we're going to be doing better here. Down here just a little bit. 1,000 feet, we'll turn the fuel pump off. There's a little bit of a drop there. Flaps up. here, so we'll pull the power back. Prop back here. Not particularly pleased with my flying right now, but it's not really what we're worried about right now. So far, so good. And it looks absolutely stunning. These are boats. I don't know if, I think this might be an add-on that I'm running. Matter of fact, I'm sure it is. It's Seafront Simulations, Anguilla St. Martin scenery. I'm sure that's from kind of the flickering is from probably a combination of the frame gen mod and DLSS. The airplane handling beautifully. Not a single stutter so far. CPU utilization is, well, it's actually about what it was. All the numbers look pretty much the same. Just the number that we're concerned with, this one here, the FPS 1% low, is looking very, very nice. On this particular flight, the flight dynamics seem a little bit different to me. The airplane seems a little bit more stable. And the airplane seems a bit more stable. The trim reactivity is absolutely instantaneous. A couple people asked me after the last video I did on the flight control latency. I was told, I couldn't think of the term, but I called it lag, and somebody corrected me that it's actually latency, and they're absolutely correct. That delay between when you make a control input physically and when it happens in the sim, that is indeed latency. And somebody asked me if my reactivity settings were set low, and that was the cause of that delay. And you can't set a low reactivity setting for the electric trim, and my reactivity settings were all at 100% anyway, so it doesn't matter. So the answer to that question is no. So but I mean, this airplane, boy, does this feel good. Back to about 1700 on the power, 2200 on the prop. And not a single stutter. The distant clouds is one of the things that they said they were working on for this update. I mean, I don't necessarily know that I paid a whole lot of attention to it before. but they look fabulous. That's probably Saharan dust, if I had to guess. That kind of haze layer there. Let's go fuel pump on. Gosh, why do I not fly this plane more often? I mean, everything looks amazing. There's white arc, we'll go full flaps. I mean, I have to say it was definitely just needed to clear my shader caches, which I hadn't done in quite a while. Get back to about 75 knots here. Prop full forward, mixtures full forward, flaps are set. Seat belts are secure, gear is down and welded. And this plane feels absolutely fantastic. There is none of the stuttering that I had earlier. My recommendation would definitely be to clear your shader caches before you start using this driver in earnest. If we get a stutter here on final, short final. Smooth as can be. Look at that. Even makes me look like I know what I'm doing. Sort of. Bonk. Yeah, so driver is good. I mean, nowadays I just update. I don't even think about it. A little bit of a drop there, and the FPS 1% low got down to about 24 frames. This is the default. Downhill we go. This is the default Flight Sim 2020 version of this airport. Go fuel pump off. Gosh, why do I not fly this plane more often? What an absolutely awesome airplane. Very, very simple. The G1000 makes it pretty clean and easy to fly. All the systems are relatively simple, you know, but it's got the control feel is wonderful with this plane. Read the manual. If you buy this airplane, read the manual, because it's important to get the controls set up properly. But it handles so beautifully. It's easy to fly. If you are so inclined, it has a very nice autopilot. You know, the integrated G1000, the autopilot is very, very nice. You can do you know, cross countries in the plane, and nice cross country flights, and it's a to fly. Alright, mixture to idle cutoff. Throttle is idle. We'll set the parking brake. Avionics coming off. Mags off, lights off, master and battery switches off. So so you saw in the earlier leg, stutter, and that was absolutely a terrible parking job. Look at that. That's embarrassing. It was absolutely related to the shader cache. This airplane, this driver is perfectly fine on my system. Once I cleared the shader cache, so if you're going to do this, you know, update to this driver for Flight Sim 2020, clear the shader cache. Performance in Sim Update 16 is fantastic. People, I sometimes wonder if I'm just in literally a different world than a lot of the things I read. I read so many people just trashing this up that it's not ready to go and don't release it and blah blah blah. And you see it every time there's excuse my voice. You see it every time there's an update. You know, every time there's a sim update, oh, it's not ready, it's not ready. And look, is it ever going to be perfect? No. And am I flying a 737 into JFK? No. But I don't know. The water looks phenomenal. Coastlines are looking nice. The scenery looks good. Terrains, clouds look beautiful. The airplane handling is really nice. They made some great updates in this sim update. So I don't know. This is technically a driver video and not about that, but in any event, this is 580.88, the new driver, and the latest sim update 16 beta 139.9. I give thumbs up to both of them. Hope you guys are doing well, and any questions, comments you have, but please put them in the comment section below. And we'll talk soon.